Ready to go.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, we are here, part 3, in I don't know,
Season 2.
Season 2, there we go. Season 2, I like it. Of the Toddzilla Files, whatever it might be, home training. What was it called? It was home arm wrestling school or something.
Homeschool gym class.
There we go.
The arm wrestling segment.
I like the music that you had in there. We didn't get that. What was the song you had?
The Violent Femmes?
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got, because I got all kinds of special effects here.
Whilst Todd is sorting that out, I'll introduce what we're actually talking about today, which is going to be injury prevention, which is when Todd's had both biceps go, haven't you? So
Yes. Basically, the three most common injuries in arm wrestling: broken bones, typically beginners, starting out beginners and beginning women. I don't think you can do much to strengthen your bones short of just lifting heavy for a long time. The bones will catch up and they'll get stronger, but you got to stay in good position to protect the bones. If you're looking at your hand, you're probably not going to break your own arm. And if you don't hit somebody who's not looking at their hand, you're probably not going to break theirs. The other common injuries are bicep tears and labrum tears, shoulder problems, that kind of stuff. And sometimes you get some elbow problems.
chronic pain.
Yeah. Chronic pain you just live with. That's not actually an injury. That's just a sign that you're doing. So that just tells you are an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
But you can train really heavy on your arms, get those bones up and good. But the bicep tendon tears, the shoulder tears, the only way to really train tendons is super, super high volume just to get the blood flow in. And it doesn't make you real strong. But if you're starting out, if you start doing high volume sets of 50 on your biceps, sets of 50 on your shoulders, that will strengthen those tendons. So when somebody does hit into it or you're out of position, the tendons get strong.
Yep.
Super heavy weights, super low reps don't really hit the tendons a lot. Plyometrics do, but it's hard to do high volume in plyometrics just because the intensity is so high. The shock loading is so high. It's hard to do a lot of reps, so you don't get a lot of flow to the tendons. But you need incredibly high volume on biceps, shoulders. Get those tendons strong. Train them even in the off season. Just ramp it up. It would be the arm wrestling equivalent of us jogging. You know, boxers run for miles. Right? Not because they're going to foot race, but they're just conditioning themselves. Arm wrestlers need to condition their biceps and now I started this after tearing both my biceps. So I just told the doctor to make my shit stronger, so I don't actually have to do this anymore. So this is something where you guys have to do it, but I actually don't.
You're covered.
I'm good. Covered. I got cyborg biceps now.
That's awesome. Your bicep tears that happened, the left one I know was obscure whilst you're holding the peg.
My left arm went straight. I was deep inside a hook with Marcio. He hit, and it went. And since this arm was straight, it had no more give to it, so the tendons were all straight. When the body went, that tendon just came off. This one was I was actually bent, but it was Dave Chafee just hit it. I don't even think my arm went completely straight. I can't remember. I think it was just a large increase in force. I just don't think the tendon could react quick enough.
There you go. Yeah. Well, and like you said, the bone breaks, that's kind of, I feel like an awareness thing almost.
I think so. I think if you you can make your bones stronger, but if you're just out of position, it doesn't take hundreds of pounds to break a bone. And so if you get it right, you can snap bones in your hands if you got them right. So you just don't want those bones loaded in a bending or in a torsional setting. So you got to keep the muscles aligned where the force is, so that if they hit, the muscles and the tendons absorb that.
Yeah, I've seen, like you said, and it is amongst amateurs. I've seen a lot of arm breaks already. I feel like 1 in 3 events that I go to, I see an amateur break.
Oh, I think I've only seen 3 in my whole life.
How have you managed that? I don't know. That's amazing.
Because I don't let people fuck themselves up when I'm watching. Hey, ref, stop that girl.
I can't.
Or I do this.
So,
because I know it's coming.
Well, I usually walk out of the room too, but 1 in 3 events that I've been to has had a broken arm, and it's it's people leading with their elbow in a downward motion. And even if you are looking at your hand, if you're doing that and you're against someone stronger than you're asking for it. So
And
that
that's,
one's
a lot of broken bones are beginners,
yeah.
either on one side or both sides of the table.
Yeah.
Because an experienced puller's not going to break a beginner's arm.
Yeah.
You know, they'll let it go. They understand you know, they can turn them around and pin them, or they'll just let them win and not. But beginners will break each other's arms, and beginners will break their own arms.
Yeah.
And they're usually not arm wrestling for money. Although I have heard, well, I got hurt in practice. I didn't break a bone, but
Yeah.
that's just really embarrassing. Because
So-
now it really doesn't count.
So back to your tendon prevention. Table time, gym time. Is there a preference on either one?
I don't think you'll strengthen them on the I think you'll test them on a table.
Mm-hmm.
Table arm practice is primarily static motions, and you will get some stress on the tendons, but you're not getting the blood flow, and you're not getting the circulatory stuff working. I think it has to be high volume stuff. I think you have to work that elbow.
Yep.
And I think you have to work it for thousands of pounds. So I think it's like 50 pounds, 50 reps, 4 sets. I mean, I think it's 4,000 pound reps worth of volume on them.
And you just schedule that into your regular strength program?
I think you do it at the end.
Yep.
I think you do all your strength training. You do your either your speed workout or your 1 rep max. You do the 2 or 3 auxiliary motions to balance it all out.
Yep.
And then you hit. And to be honest, shoulders, biceps, even wrist curls. You're doing that in your training anyways. Just do it at the end and just throw gobs and gobs of volume on it. And I don't know how much, because we're not evolved enough like power lifters or football or any other real sport.
Yeah.
So you just got to guess, but more volume is probably
more volume, better.
Not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I used super high volume. When I started, I had no one to train with, nothing. And I remember being in the extraordinary pain in that first 3 months of being excited about the sport and pulling. I had a retail supplement store. I used to give a 20% discount if you could beat me in an arm wrestle. So I was arm wrestling everyone, and really inflamed. And it was reps. I used to aim for 10,000 reps a day during that early. And that was hours.
That might be what it takes, but it's that lactic acid building up that triggers that healing and triggers that to strengthen them tendons.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, I haven't had a big injury in arm wrestling, touch wood. I don't feel like it's going to happen. I feel confident, but
none of us did.
Yeah.
I to be honest, I used to tell people I was bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then I got hurt. like within 3 years, I tore both arms.
Yeah, that's it.
And I've arm wrestled in a lot of ugly positions without getting hurt, and then
something basic.
But then I started arm wrestling. You know, the longer you arm wrestle,
the higher the tension's getting.
Yeah, the better the people you're pulling. So you keep pulling, and as you get older, you have to do more work. You don't get to do less work every year. You have to do more work every year because your body's older. So,
well, actually, I want to ask you that question about tendons and age relative to the sport. And you've said before to me that the US has a culture where arm wrestlers have a lot of longevity. Is that? Do you think that is something to do with tendons stiffening as you get older, and it actually being a good thing for the sport? Or
I don't know what it is. I know it was an observation made. It was made to me the first time I went to Poland.
Yep.
Because the first time I went, I was in my 40s, and I was with 2 other people that were in their 40s.
Yeah.
And I think Rustin Babaya's mom dropped him off, or he rode a bicycle, because I think he was 13 years old, you know. Yeah. But it was like there would be all these really great monsters, and then they'd disappear.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't. You know, this was, you know, and John reigned for like decades, but you know, all the top guys, you know, they're Simplinkov and Pushkar were on for a very long time, but really prior to that, you know, there'd be a champion for 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden there'd be a new champion.
It is interesting. It's I don't know what it is, why that is that difference between the Europeans.
But they might just burn out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They might not
train so
it might just be their job.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, okay, I've won it 5 years in a row. I'm now retired. I'm going to go do a hobby.
Yeah.
Where the rest of us, we're already working 45 hours a week. So this is our hobby.
Yeah, that's it.
This
And
is what
ultimately,
we're
we've done the same amount of hours
Yeah.
as they had. It just takes us longer, as you say. Yeah, because I've always, I mean, it was actually the reason why I picked up the sport. The observation that the average age of an elite arm wrestler, and I was observing American arm wrestling at the time, was in the 40s. And I was
Yeah.
like, I haven't missed the boat. Fantastic.
Power
Like,
lifters are very strong then, because by the time a power lifter reaches his 40s, even his early 50s, he's had a lot of years to put a lot of muscle
Yeah.
and a lot of bone into that body. Because
Yeah.
if they start training in their 20s, but that's 20 years of heavy, intense lifting, and power lifters do a lot of volume to build. Like they do a lot of volume on their lower back to support their squatting. They do a lot of volume on their triceps to support their bench pressing. So.
Yeah.
20 years of that, you got some very strong bones and tendons. So power lifters, they can compete well into their 40s,
Yeah.
like golfers,
Yeah.
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 but not football players and not UFC fighters.
Yeah, yeah. They get their knees go and everything. But what I've always felt in my opposition is that even if an old guy and a young guy, they might have the same 1 RM, but the old guy feels instantaneous in his strength, where the young guy feels like it's like a rubber band.
That old man muscle
Yeah.
and that country boy strength is real, but because your 1 rep max was measured in one particular direction. It was either a curl or a bench press. So it was one plane of motion. Where old men, country boys, they're strong in multiple different vectors.
Yep.
So in that their 1 rep max might be the same. 4 degrees off that,
Yeah.
country boy's still 90% strong, right? You get off of your
Yeah.
vector.
Yeah.
Country boy's strong for a wide range, where your gym rat or your mirror queer or whatever, he's strong here, but
Yeah.
you tell him to widen his grip on a bicep curl, and all of a sudden he can do
Yeah.
half of what he used to do. Where the farmer, he can
It's just as good.
curl it here or here because he's just strong everywhere.
There you go. Yeah, I've never thought of it that way, and I think that's a good point. I like it.
And when you're arm wrestling, you don't get to pick the one vector you're using because the other guy's trying to pick his.
Yep.
So you have to be,
Willing.
that ability to control and pull in and out of your own lane.
Yeah.
As you get older, you get better at that.
Yeah. Good stuff. Oh well. Hopefully, no more injuries for you as you get older. How many times have you retired from the sport?
Well, I've quit 3 or 4,
There you go.
but I've yet to retire.
Yeah. Well, we're doing it.
I've quit at least 3 different arm wrestling leagues. So
Yeah. But they keep on paying you money, hey, to come
New
on.
leagues keep paying me
Yeah.
money. Once I quit them, I've never gone back.
Good stuff. Anyway, Todd, thank you very much for that one.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yes, that's a man!